is Anatomy of a Hit Song, where we are analyzing the characteristics which makes a song popular. Our analysis is done in two different domains. For the first one, we are comparing the biggest hits right from the year 1960 all the way up to 2015. Our second comparison involves taking a popular artist and showing his most popular track and his biggest flop. So we're using this D3 slider to move across time. One very important thing that I would like to highlight, and that was advised to us during the preliminary report, was that whenever a year is selected, we should not only show that year's graph on the screen. Because when you, let's say, coming from 1991 to 2010, when you're seeing the graph of 2010, you probably would have forgotten what is happening in 1991 or 1999. So giving this 10-year plot, there are 10 plots here till 2004, let's say from 95 to 2004, when we've selected 2000, gives you an entire temporal relationship of how the popular tracks have changed in a decade. And I think this is important to do any kind of analysis, because doing making interpretation standalone is going to lead to some kind of an error. So valence is a very interesting study. Valence refers to the amount of positiveness a song has, and you can see that the songs in the 90s usually had a lot more positivity about them as the songs today, and that is kind of expected. Songs in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s talked about love. They talked about family. A lot of recent songs are criticizing the government, highlighting social issues, which is really good. But that is one of the reasons why their valence is on the lower side. Liveness is on the rise. More and more songs are getting recorded in a live setting. People are listening to them and are enjoying that particular version. So if we go back in time to, let's say, 968, and see, the charts look very different from what it did in the late 2000s. There's not a lot of songs which are peaking on liveness. A few of them have energy, and these would be some of the famous Beatles rock and roll, some Zeppelin rock and roll tracks, which became the most popular in the late 60s or in the early 60s. The one in 1964 is definitely a Beatle track, high on valence, little low on energy. They were not really the most ferocious of bands, but and also high on danceability. So I think this map can show you that if you were an artist living in 1965 and you wanted to make a hit song, you probably would have had to balance out these factors to be somewhere in the domain. Whereas if, let's say, you were an artist in the year 1969, probably making this, if your song wasn't very loud, you probably wouldn't have lost out on popularity because of that. I think you cannot really say that if you had a liveness of zero point 0.7 and an instrumentalness of zero point 0.6, your song would be spectacular and it will be a big hit. But what you can say is, if you did not make the song very loud, it could still perform well, because we have some proof that not non-loud songs are have also done well for that year. Our second comparison involves studying artists. So let's say this is a plot for Led Zeppelin, and as you can see, their most popular track, which is shown in turquoise, is slightly low on danceability, has a lot of instrumentalness, because Zeppelin is really famous for their drumming, for their guitaring, and this makes no surprise why a song with slightly high instrumentalness would be more popular. Instrumentalness is also a metric which does not have really high values, and hence a value of around zero point 0.1 or zero point 0.2 is actually a lot. And we can just see something similar for Floyd. Floyd is more popular when they have more positive nature in their songs, and that's kind of correct, because they are famous for their psychedelic lyrics rather than for the sheer energy or for their danceability. Taylor Swift is a very different example, someone who prides on danceability and on energy, and you can see her most popular song is the one which is very high on danceability. Some another latest artist, Jonas Brothers, again, a very clear distinction of how a loud, brashy, and energetic song of theirs is more popular than something which is just not having a lot of words, which is not very positive, just a random hip hop song, and it does not become popular. And similarly, we can compare these other artists. The key takeaway from this is that you can use these characteristic maps to form some sort of an analysis and recognize some sort of a trend as to what makes a hit song. Thank you.